Hello everyone, this is going to be the first video for our Make-A-Wish motor. This is the crankshaft out of the motor. As you may recall, our core motor was kind of in rough shape, so Glenn is bringing us another one to pick from, but this is the crankshaft out of that motor. I had number 2 rod journal was worn 6 thou, and the crankshaft is bent 15 thousandths. So I'm just going to show the process for straightening a crankshaft. You can see by my dial here, I've got a dial indicator on the center main, and I'm rotating the crankshaft, and it's about 15 thousandths out of alignment. So we are going to straighten that. It's not going to be used. This is just a cast crank, late model crank, but I just want to show the process. This is in my crank press between centers, so I'm just going to clamp the crankshaft down and apply just a little bit of pressure. I'm on the low spot of the crank right now. I'm just going to apply enough pressure to deflect the crankshaft about 50 or 60 thousandths. And then using these tools here, a BFH and a BFC, which of course stands for Big Favorite Hammer and Big Favorite Chisel, and we are going to shock the molecules in this crank to see if we can get it to go back to straight. You can press on a crank all day long and you won't do anything. You do have to hit it with a hammer to get the molecules to move. And let's see what we've done. Okay, it's now about 5 thousandths, so we're halfway there. And it's important to have a crankshaft straight before you do any grinding. Picture if the crankshaft is bent towards these 2 center rods, then those 2 rods have got more stroke than the other 2. And you really like to equalize the stroke lengths when you grind a crankshaft. And plus the thrust will run out, the crank flange can run out, even the snout can run out if the crank is bent. So again, I'm going to apply enough pressure to push it 50 or 60 thou. Give it another whack. See what that got us. Well, we are about 3 thousandths. So you can see the process one more time and we'd be pretty close. Of course, I check on all 3 journals, but generally it's bent most in the middle. Now this crank, even though we're not using it, I mean, this could be saved by getting it straight. It would grind at 10 under, but obviously we'd want to magnaflux this crank before I do anything. Now another thing I want to point out is the difference between a cast and a forged crank. This is the late model crank, and you can see this line right here. That's left from the casting process. It's a sharp edge, and this is on any cast crankshaft, whereas this is a steel B crank, and you can see the difference. It's the forging line is much wider and sort of flat across the top versus sharp. And this is true of any forged crank. If you don't know if it's a forged or a steel crank, all you need to do is look at that line and that'll tell you right off. Now my next installment will be magnafluxing this crankshaft, and we'll do that in a day or 2.